Hello, YouTubers. Z Elder here. I wanted to do a video about what to eat during the off season. I mean, this is pretty much winter's coming, late fall. You're supposed to be backing off, and we're doing a lot of steady rides and just easy stuff. For those of us who jump into races or sportives, there's not a whole lot you're doing right now that requires you to break out, the stuff that you use during the racing season or in season. So I wanted to go over what makes sense to stretch those cycling dollars. It's time to retire the gels, give them a break. These things are expensive, they add up. This is the time of year that is good to, like in the other video I talked about buying cycling stuff. It's time to stock up on them. They're on sale. Get them ready. Buy some when they're giving them, when they're closing them out. Black Friday is coming. Stock up for next season, but let them stay at home. You don't really need them right now because really you're not supposed to be hammering to the point where, because I use these exclusively when I'm going really hard and I need the energy to get in to my system right away. When I'm hammering, I don't care for solid foods. So this really works. When there's a lull in the pace, I may eat a bar or something, but when you're going hard, the gels really work. They're concentrated to get in there. So this time of year, save the dollars, let them rest, put the gels away. What I recommend, the good old banana. I mean, sometimes I get away from bananas because you get sick of them and you eat them all the time. The little apples, the Granny Smith apples, all the little, what they call Washington apples, the red ones. I like to get the little ones. They're about probably a little smaller than a tennis ball. And you can put 2 in a pocket and go. So apples, sometimes you can cut them up. We have the apple dicer, you dice them, put them in a bag. But most of the time I just toss them in my pocket. A couple of them with a banana and maybe a couple of bars. I get these Nutri-Grain bars. I have them here because I wanted to show you guys. My wife gets them from Sam's. They're Nature Valley fruit and nut. I use that. I try to make the variety because if you just use one, you get sick of them. So this is the crunchy oats and honey. This one is really crunchy. So when you eat it, you kind of want some liquid to follow it. This one is a little gummier, not like candy gummy, but it's stuck together. This one's more of a flaky kind. There are 2 in the pack. The reason I'm bringing these is because they're cheap. This one has 48 bars in it, and we get them from Sam's. I think they're like $14 or something. This one's like $23, and there's 98 in the box. I mean, so my wife gets a bunch. I have them in a closet there, and so I have them laid out. That's what I take with me in the winter. I also take them in season because early in the ride, when I'm heading out or just warming up, I eat these like an hour before. That's a good time to eat solid stuff. So this is the time to take whatever you like. It doesn't have to be these. I'm just showing these as an example. But take your apples and make peanut butter sandwiches. Cut them up small, put them in a bag, put them in plastic bag. Whatever you have in the house, take this winter, take with you. Save the dollars. Let the gels and all the stuff that you use during the mean season when you're going hard. Let them take a break. Save your dollars. You don't need them. Take those with you because they just work better. They make more sense than gels because after a while you probably get sick of the gels, but they're just not. You don't need them now. You're not supposed to be killing yourself until maybe late February, depending on what you're training for. But now's the time to back off the gels and eat different things. Take foods that are high. I get up on a group ride on a Saturday. I'll get up 2 hours before the ride. Have some like hot cocoa in the morning, and then I'll have some oatmeal. Oatmeal is really good because it stays with you for several hours, and the energy comes out slowly because it has a low glycemic index. It's not a quick energy boost, so it's really good. So, and I vary it. I don't eat the same thing all the time because, after a while you get sick of it. But most times, really, when I get up early in the morning, my appetite's not there. So, I may drink some cocoa. I don't do coffee, cocoa or tea. And I may drink actually some Gatorade. Like usually before I head out, I'll drink a bottle of Gatorade just to get my system started. You want to put something in your system to wake it up. Don't go to a ride, haven't eaten anything. If you haven't eaten anything, that's not good. Wake your system up. It's like kind of you're cranking the engine. Put a little something in there. It doesn't have to be solid food. Like I said, I drink Gatorade, whatever works for you. Because sometimes I get up in the morning, the only thing I can drink is a liquid meal, not something solid. And then within 15, 20 minutes on the bike, then I can eat. So that's the way. So I take a little extra of these bars, stick them in my jersey. And another thing I do is I make sure, and this is something, if you're not aware, I recommend, you have these bars. When you're going to use the bars, cut this, because they're a pain to open sometimes, especially when you're on the bike. And if you cut that, you can just push them up and use with one hand. They just come up. And then what I do is I can take several bites. Take one bite, toss it back in my pocket, because I never like to eat with my mouth completely full. But that's a great thing that I learned over the years. You always cut the wrapper. It'll stay in there and you just put it in your jersey. So when you take it out, you can do it with one hand. You can just grab it, pull it through if you want, or you can push it up. It's very easy. So keep that in mind. You can do that with even this one. Cut the wrapper. Use your scissors. It keeps it nice and neat, and it doesn't make a mess in your pocket, because these are just a solid bar. But that's something I wanted to just make sure I mentioned to you guys. So now's the time of the year to enjoy the variety of the different kinds of foods that you weren't taking with you during the in season. Whatever it is you like. Sometimes I get some dates and put them in a plastic bag, or some strawberries or grapes in a plastic bag. Just toss it in my jersey and get out there. You'd be amazed. Some oranges. All I do is I pluck the orange and take the outer covering off the orange and just have it in the bag. And when I'm out there, I can break it apart and just eat it. But somehow it just really refreshes you to eat different foods if you ride often. And these are for rides in excess of, say, an hour and a half. If you're just going for an hour, you can probably go without carrying a whole lot of food. But I always just put something in my pocket. My rule is never to get hungry on the bike. I've been there once. I bonked once many years ago. It was not fun. And I vowed never again. So I always just toss a little something in there. If I come back home with it, that's fine. I'd much rather have it and not need it. But that's what I wanted to cover today. Leave your comments and questions below. And be safe on the roads.